So I think, yeah, no worries, man. It's hot. I know. Sorry. Singapore weather, and it's 1 p.m. Yeah, okay. Welcome back to another video, guys. Today I'm here with Zac and a very special Java Vesuvio, the very first one on my channel. Everyone has been, and I posted the Instagram Q&A for this bike. Everyone was wondering what happened to the bike because I didn't post it out for a very long time. And the reason why it took so long was because you were down with COVID. And fortunately, you're okay, and we are here with the bike. So I hope you guys enjoy this one. Zac, thanks for coming. And before I pass it over to you, could you just tell us a bit more of what happened with COVID?
Thanks for having me. So what happened, how did I come down with COVID? It was probably through a group, right? Either that or through my work. Yeah, but either way, the total isolation took like 18 days, and it was a painful 18 days. I had to go and rent the turbo trainer and have my friend ride 2 to 3 size too big frame for him all the way to my house, all the way to my isolation place, just so that I can ride again. But riding indoor is never the same as riding outdoor.
The next thing I want to talk about is this bike. So why a Java, man? And where is Java to my international viewers who have not seen a Java? And is this your very first bike?
Okay, so this is indeed my very first road bike. I came from fixed gear 4-5 years ago and mountain bike 1 year ago. And this bike was purchased 4 months ago. And my purchase decision was a low entry price point with a not budget looking bicycle, and this is exactly the bike I was looking for. The bike retail for 1.5k. Yep, and currently it is upgraded to roughly 2.5k. Yeah, because of the power meter and the hydraulic 105 brake. Java is made in China, I believe. Yep, so it's a China frame. But yeah, overall the purchase decision is a low entry price point, but I ended up spending the same amount close to a TCR with the same spec, maybe around 700 less. But overall, I'm still really happy with this bike because of the internal routing, the one-piece handlebar, and just generally the very slick aero look. I got this Java from, honestly, I can't remember. It is somewhere in MacPherson. There's a local retailer. This bike was bought from a shop which sells a lot of foldies.
Just now you were telling me that the weight of the bike was very heavy, which I will flash on the camera now because you asked me to guess the weight, right? Because this is a 105 Groupset, and these are not carbon wheels. Very deceiving. I thought they were carbon. Yeah, aluminium wheels. So I guessed it was 8.5, but it's not. So it's 9, right? 9.5. It's pretty heavy. And I wanted to point out that this head, what do you call this? What do you call it? Head tube, looks very similar to the Winspace T1500, which is their aero model. Actually, I think it looks extremely identical. Can you just run us through the entire bike, the components, and yeah? Yeah,
sure. So the bike came stock. Okay, currently the bike has full carbon frame and carbon fork, full carbon fork also. Integrated one-piece carbon bar and aero seat post that is proprietary. It has a full 105 group set down to the chain. It's full R7000 group set with hydraulic disc brake. They are in-house alu wheels with quite loud hubs and not very low engagement, which is quite sweet. I have a head unit right there that is a competitor to Mergin, and as well as a Mergin power meter, dual-sided, and front and rear light. The saddle is a C-Works China Works. Yep, but it's if I'm not wrong, it's a alu rail, no, steel rail. It's a steel rail, but it isn't super heavy. Yep, it's around 153 wide.
So people who are watching this video probably want to know more about the frame. How does it perform, and are you happy with it?
Okay, at first my thought process was I was very bummed out because I could probably have a TCR for similar price, and a lot of your previous video, the owners of TCR have experienced a very, their comment was a very stiff frame, right? laterally stiff frame. So when I was on the turbo trainer and I tried to do the flex test, because I'm a heavy guy, so if anything flex is under me. So I realized that although this frame is very heavy, I can't quantify how heavy because I haven't stripped it down. But although this frame is very heavy, I could feel that the BB area is very sturdy. It's very stiff. So it's a heavy bike but a stiff bike.
Can you climb with this?
I cannot climb with this. I cannot climb.
You cannot climb because of you as a person or because of the bike?
It's probably because of me.
Okay.
Yeah, I weigh like 10 times the bike. So
yeah.
So if anything, honestly, at around 100 kg, right, the bike is probably like 6.8 kg if like equivalent, you know, if it's a 6 plus kg 60 plus kg person riding a 60 plus a 6.8 kg bike, is similar to, the ratio is similar, right? So the heavier I am, the heavier bike. So actually it doesn't feel heavy, but it's just the fact that I cannot climb. But speaking of the bike performance, this bike can climb, but just not as well as the other bike that I've tried that belongs to my friend. But where it excels in is on the flat, because after all it's still an aero bike, and I don't think the rim is super shallow enough to be called a shallow rim. It's just an all-rounder at 38mm. But overall, it maintains speed quite well. Also because I'm heavy and the momentum just keeps going after acceleration. I am 186 cm and this frame size is a 54 with a 550mm top tube.
I mean, if you guys want to know the exact details, it'll be in the description. I'll get the information from you later. These wheels are in-house Java wheels, right, that came with the bike, and they're just aluminium wheels.
So it is a 28mm GP5K. It came with a Ultra Sport, if I'm not wrong, but changing to GP5K made it a slight bit lighter, maybe up to 200 gram, because it was on steel bead, if I'm not wrong.
What are my other questions I want to ask? Oh yeah, so the handlebar is also from Java. Yeah. It's a carbon bar.
Oh yeah, the handlebar is 40mm wide. Yep, and full integrated carbon, and it was sprayed over with an airbrush by me over the stock. Very ugly matte black with very disgusting looking decals. But overall, currently it's a iridescent color that shows well under the sun.
Anything that you do not like about this bike and the frame?
The weight. Yep. The weight of the frame is 9.5 kg. It is way too much for a lot of people to swallow. So let's say in the future, if I want to sell this bike to someone who is probably around 1.7 meter, which this bike actually suits for, they will consider a lot of time. Yeah. Yep. And another downside I would say is that after all, it's a Java. I am not super excited to be telling people that I ride a Java, but it's just nice to see that a lot of people mistaken this sub $2,000 bike for a much more expensive, let's say BMC Time Machine. Is it Time Machine or Team Machine? Yep. And someone even commented it. It looks like, what's that? Yeah, Time Machine is the one I get the most.
I actually I filmed a Time Machine, and one of the questions in my Q&A was, well, did that Time Machine actually look so much like a Java Vesuvio? Are you familiar with Java bikes? Have you heard of Java? He says he thought this bike was a Java Vesuvio.
I heard of Java, but I've never really seen that bike lah. So I don't know. Do they come with the integrated bottles and
maybe the shape looks a bit like, I don't know who copied who, most probably Java.
Oh, really? I will try to Google later. I've never seen it.
And because the bike is kind of heavy, like 9.5, right? When you're on the flats, do you think it's very difficult to maintain speeds? Because like you mentioned, you know, you're already in a rolling movement, right? So the seat really, is it much more harder to maintain a high speed?
Acceleration is hard, but maintaining a constant, say 36 to 38 isn't super hard, because After all, I have the hood tilted in so that I can get into an aero position. Big guys like me really need all the arrows that we could use. So provided I'm in a more aero tucked position on the hoods, I'm able to maintain speed relatively easy in my zone 2 power.
What would be your next upgrade, and will you be changing this bike anytime soon?
Okay, first a side story. The upgrades will probably be carbon wheels and I'm done for this bike. Probably after that it will be a whole new bike. But anyways, the reason why I haven't changed a carbon wheel is because I am still training with this wheel. Because this wheel is super heavy. This wheel is like just the rim itself without any accessories. It is more than 2 kg. And you can easily get carbon wheels that is similar depth, or rather 50 mm for 1.5 kg. So you're actually shaving off 700 gram, which will bring this bike down to roughly high 8 kg. Yeah, which will be much more acceptable. And yeah, the carbon wheels will be the only thing that needs upgrading for now. But not now because I'm still using it for training, personal training. Yep.
Which wheels will you get?
Honestly, I'll probably get China carbon wheels. But laced to DT Swiss. Probably from Taobao or something. Oh. Yep. So a China carbon 50 laced to a DT Swiss. DT Swiss. DT 350 hubs.
I think that's it, man. Do you want to talk about anything else before I move on to Q&A?
Yes, and it is. I just want to talk about the bike as a whole. For anyone entering the sports and wanting to try all the, you can say, gimmicks of road cycling, example, integrated handlebar, full carbon frame, or even power meter and hydraulic disc brake. So this particular bike is the reason why I chose this is because it has pretty much all you can need in the modern cycling world. Less electronic shifting, but it has more or less everything in 2021. Hydraulic brake, full integrated seat pole, full integrated handlebar, power meter. So I just want to talk quickly about the power meter. So it has enabled me to train more consistently, and I feel that if you are anything more than a casual cyclist, you should invest in a power meter so that you don't have to mash up climb at double FTP.
I recently gave in to a power meter. I wouldn't say recently, probably like 6 months ago. I mean, I've been riding for some time. I just didn't believe in all these gadgets, but I agree that the power meter actually helped me in terms of my training. More so of if I'm on a solo ride, right? I don't want to overkill myself, and then I just don't know how much power I'm going, especially at the start of the ride. You power your way through everyone, and then when you can't even return home, right? Because you've already used up all your energy. But actually, I'm curious to know: have you smoked anyone on this bike?
Your definition by smoke?
Have you overtaken someone with a damn expensive bike?
I hate to say, but yes.
Okay.
But I don't think it has anything got to do with bike. Because the whole story goes like this. I met a CCK rider, and he absolutely destroyed my legs that night going from King Albert Park to Newton. And I told myself that he asked me if I would like to join his ride. But I say no because I know my leg is gonna get absolutely destroyed if I join their Wednesday CCK ride. So I went ahead and more or less lone wolf style trained myself a bit more. So one fine day, I haven't been contacting him ever since I was training. And then one fine day, I told him that I'm finally ready to do the Wednesday ride. And I'm just very happy that I didn't get dropped by the pack 1.5. Okay. Yep. So smoke someone, I would say it should be personal fitness rather than bike, because I think bike plays a lesser role than personal fitness. Yep. But generally, sprint wise, I've calculated the numbers. I'm more of a short bursty sprinter than an endurance, so I cannot go very far for very long.
Instagram Q&A. If you guys want to ask your questions, follow me on Instagram and you will get the chance to ask your interview questions. So, Zac, are you ready? We have 5 pages worth of Instagram Q&A. Like I said, this is extremely high in demand. I don't know why, and this is probably not the most expensive bike on my channel, but it has the most demand. So I've got a challenge for you. You have to answer the questions within 1 minute max, because we've got so many questions and I want to cover all of them, okay? We'll give everyone a chance. So why is your stem not slam?
This is a size way too small for me, 1 to 2 size smaller. So having a slam stem means I will probably destroy my back earlier, and I still want to live a healthier life up to my 40s.
Is this the bigger size that it comes in for Java?
After size 54 is a size 57, which is my size. But I chose this because I came from a fixed gear background, and a shorter top tube and a generally shorter wheelbase, more nimble bike is the type of bike that I like more.
Next question. Why did you choose the Vesuvio over the Suprema? Can you tell me what's the Suprema?
I think the Suprema is the more expensive cousin of this, which doesn't have the full black colorway but has the carbon wheel. So I'm not fond of the Java logo, so a full black option matches my taste better.
Is the braking tight on your bike?
Is the braking tight? The biting point is very short, as in the free stroke is quite short, but tight as in I mean the brake is very well bled by my mechanic, so yeah, it's quite tight in the field.
Why a Java?
Low entry price point at 1.5k.
Have you ridden any other big brand bikes before, and how does it compare?
No, I have not. I will not know how, let's say, Aero or BMC feel like, but I am just really happy to know that I don't have to change my bike anytime soon because it is stiff enough for me.
I like this question. It's not meant to be a sarcastic question or to attack you in any way. His question is, why not buy a BTWIN instead? Because it's only 1,500. You could have, for that kind of price range, you can go to Decathlon, buy a Van Rysel or any of those bikes. So yeah, have you tried a BTWIN?
I think they rebranded it to Van Rysel or something. Yeah. Why not BTWIN? Carbon frame. I just wanted to try a carbon frame, and it honestly looks like it's a $5,000 bike, whereas a BTWIN looks like it's price tag.
Good answer. Any fears that it might just snap in half?
Not at all. I tried knocking different parts of the carbon frame. The only hollow part is here. Other than that, the handlebar down to you and all, it's really solid. That explains the weight, but it is stiff.
What is the best and worst thing about this bike?
The best thing about this bike is the fact that it gets mistaken for a price, a bike that is double the price. The worst thing about this bike is the fact that it has press fit bottom bracket. It is very hard to maintain, or rather find. It's generally more cumbersome if I want to have a mechanic service it.
Okay, we'll stop the 1 minute first. I want to talk about your point on the press fit. But why do you think it's difficult? Because I think press fit is the most seamless solution for a bottom bracket. Like it's easy to install, and I think there's not much creaking in press fit. Have you had any creaking issues?
That's a good thing about press fit, is because I used to have mountain bike with with threaded BB, and it seemed to creak from time to time. Press fit, I don't have the problem, but it's just that I like to work on my bike, and because of the press fit and I would say the integrated handlebar, I cannot work on my bike. I have to find a home mechanic or a shop to work on my bike, which is a bit troublesome. But generally, I guess you made a good point. The benefit for press fit is the fact that once installed properly by a mechanic, it should not have any problem till your next service or bearing change.
So if I hear you correctly, you think a press fit is much more difficult to dismantle because it's pressed. You need a tool to press it in and press it out. I've had both press fits and threaded. I think the press fit is easier in the sense that it's easy to install. You just got to twist it and push it in with that pressing tool. But a threaded one, you got to torque it to a certain torque, right? So you got to get that right as well. So anyway, that's my personal opinion. Any regrets?
I would say if I were to choose again and I foresee myself spending 2.5k to $3,000 on this bike, I would probably try the TCR. Like what you said in a previous video, I think every cyclist have to try TCR once in their life.
This kind of bike hits home to me because my very first road bike was a Giant TCR, and at that time I was even running it wasn't even a 105, it was a Tiagra and it was like the shittiest components. But it was my very first bike, and to be able to convince my parents to give me, like, at that time it was like 4,000 ringgit back in Malaysia. It was a bit difficult, and they thought that it's just going to be for fun, you're just going to buy and then not going to ride it anymore, right? But yeah, I mean, usually giant bikes are the kind of bikes that I would normally recommend my friends who just want to get into cycling, because it's really value for money and the parts are pretty okay, and you can always sell it again, right? Rather than you go to Decathlon, buy a Triban or whatever, yes. And that bike's probably, the bike will be very shitty and you don't want to continue riding because the components are so bad.
So if I were to actually sell this bike, I would probably go for TCR. Yeah, because just too many people rave about the stiffness, and I just want to see how it compares to the already stiff Java.
Well, I need to be careful of what I say on the internet now that people are watching my videos. I mean, the reason why I got a TCR in the first place was because it was a budget-friendly road bike and it was pretty okay, no complaints, so that's the reason why I got a TCR. And I recommend everyone who wants to start riding to get a TCR because, yeah, money, man, price. But the thing is now, new entrants like Java, is starting to dominate the market, right, of budget bikes. Any plans to change out the rotors?
Because this hub came with the Java bike, this whole wheel set, it has a 6-bolt rotor. So unless I change to a carbon wheel set with a center lock, I will not be changing my rotor at all.
I don't understand this question. His question is, what are your thoughts on the original brake calipers? Aren't these originals?
Yeah. So for those who know this bike more, it came with a cable actuated hydraulic disc brake. So it uses the V brake. It uses the V brake hoods, and it is routed to a very funky looking basic. You can call it mechanical disc brake, and it works fine for people under 80 or 70 kg, but definitely not for me. 105 is barely enough for me down Mount Faber. But generally, I would say if you are a lighter rider, the stock brake will work fine, and you don't have to spend like $700 to upgrade to a full hydro brake.
Oh, maybe that explains why I didn't understand the question, because now that you explained it to me, it makes more sense. Is Java and Sava the same? I
have a friend who rides Sava. I would like to think that they came from the same. They obviously come from same country, but Sava actually specs their bike with up to an Altegra. But Java spec their bike up to a full 105. That's all. But my personal opinion is that Java bike looks nicer because BMC.
Why don't you just spray paint it to a BMC?
Very. It feels illegal.
So Sava is more like the S-Works of Specialized, and Java is a Specialized. Can I say that? Or it's two different companies?
I would say it's two different companies with similar price point, or rather build quality. But for some reason, Sava just chose to spec their bike with up to an Altegra.
Why are there so little people riding a Java?
Brand. Most people go for brand. They go for how the bike makes other people feel, and also value for money. Sorry, the question was what again? Because I'm keep thinking.
Why so little people riding Java?
Oh, okay. Why so little people?
I think you answered it, brand, right?
So number one is brand. Is because when people see a non-giant, which is a very good bang for bucks bike, for example, when people see Java, they don't associate it with actual road bike. I guess it's just maybe they feel that it's a China brand or whatever. But once you try it, at 1.5k starting price, you really can't complain. Consider that TCR starts at roughly 3k for the similar spec.
Does the brake have any problem, like being very hard to squeeze? The Java Fuko had this problem.
The stock brake is not very useful. The braking performance is on par, if not lesser than a standard rim brake. But once you change, I think it's because of the 290-degree curve at the integrated handlebar. But once you change to a better brake cables, it should fix all the problems and perform only as well as a V brake.
I think we got to switch seats because you are very dark in the video. I just have to say that I look like a midget in this video. Yeah. I really look like a small kid, man. Okay. What got you into cycling, and do you think you will do this in the long run?
I started riding fixed gear around 6 years ago, I assume. Yeah, around 6 years ago. And I just love the feeling of being rewarded with your effort. Being rewarded by your effort with speed on a road bike, or on road bike or fixed gear. And coming from mountain bike, I don't enjoy waking up every morning just to go to trail. Whereas for road bike, it's really flexible on what time you go out riding. Let's say, and currently I'm a night rider.
Since we changed seats, I'm looking at the bike at this position. The handlebar looks really narrow, and more so that you've tilted the hoods inwards. Do you feel comfortable? Because you are a pretty big guy, right?
So like I say, a big guy like me can use all the aero advantage that we are given. And by tilting the bar inwards, it was at first just an experiment, but right after tilting my hoods inwards, the first ride got me hooked because I'm able to rest my wrist on near the flats of the bike, which enable me to hold a tucked elbow hood position a bit longer, which can help with speed.
How comfortable is this bike for a long ride?
Surprisingly, this bike is quite comfortable because, especially if you downsize your bike, because of the long seat post and the dropped seat stay. So it's relatively comfortable, especially with 28C or so.
It's not a question, but it's a sarcastic question. This is the BMC Super 6 Time Machine Evo, right?
Yes, it is, until you ask me, and then I will tell you that it's a Java.
Someone who is from an entry-level bike, is it worth for them to upgrade to this bike?
If you are riding a BTWIN, for example, upgrading to this bike will be an actual upgrade because the bike as it stands is as far as amateur needs. It's as far as amateur needs because we are not. If you are not racing and whatnot, you don't need the lighters. You don't need the most aero. You just need something. You just need a bike that can do everything at a bang for buck price point of. If let's say you eliminate the power meter, the whole bike with full hydro costs like 2K. Yeah, so at $2,000, you really can't beat the value compared to even a TCR.
Last question, you know the question, are you subscribed?
I'm subscribed since your 5th video and I've watched your subscriber count go up and up, which is a good thing.
Thank you for subscribing, and this is your last chance on my video, and if you want to share anything additional that I did not cover, here's your chance.
If any of the viewers here wish to offer me an offer that I can't resist to change the TCR, I'll gladly try it.
So naturally, when I post these kind of videos, people always ask me a lot of questions, but I become the middleman and I gotta reach out to them. So I think if anyone wants information, they can just reach out to you. I'll put your Instagram username. That is the end of the video. Thank you so much, Zac. It was a pleasure. We'll film the rest of the bike, and if you guys have questions, you can direct it to Zac. I think he'll be more than happy to answer your questions on the Java. And that is the end of the video, and I'll see you guys next week. And thank you, Zac.
Thank you.